Well, there are all of my car keys. Somebody was asking me the other day, because they knew they thought just a couple of classic cars. I said, how many cars do you own exactly? I was like, well, pick a number that you think is completely unreasonable, and it's probably more than that. Yeah, I own six vehicles, which seems probably absurd for a household with two adults who drive, but just telling you why. So you probably associate these with existing cars. So this is the key for my 51 Ford pickup truck. I love to see the contrast of how keys have grown in size over time. So 1951, this is the original key right there. That's what it looked like. 1959 Cadillac, only slightly bigger. This is original key for the 1969 Mustang, kind of up to full speed of what a lot of us who grew up in the 70s and 80s remember. 2011 Ford Flex. This is the era when things were getting, your key was not just a key, but a fob, but had functions. 2014 Jeep Patriot. And our newest car, a 2025 Kia Carnival, which I can't even begin to talk about that. But yes, this is the kind that doesn't even have, you don't actually put a key in. Which I have to admit, it is very convenient to just like have it in your pocket and drive and go. But I enjoy the satisfaction of stabbing my metal key into the car and turning and twisting and getting that satisfying growl of it starting up. So yeah, six cars. Well, this girl. She is currently resting here as the weather's been bad, and I don't know if it shows up here, but we've had enough snow and cold that there's salt on the ground, and I really try not to take my classics out when there's salt on the ground. So here she sits. She will be moving inside. Gonna get some winter storage, probably for the Mustang, so it can have a place to sleep, and this girl will go into its spot. You've probably seen this car in the background of some videos. This is our 2011 Ford Flex. This has been our kind of main family cruiser, my wife's car, for 13 years. We've really enjoyed it. Very dependable car. Honestly, we would have gotten another one, except that they stopped making the Flex. I liked it because it kind of had all the features of an SUV without actually being of a minivan without actually being a minivan. It's kind of got more of a SUV stance to it. But this is my main driver now, so it also gets to sit outside. And of course, I think you all are familiar with Black Beauty here, the 59 Cadillac sedan, which has no doubt been my problem child car. After 9 years of ownership, I've kind of really got it finally into good mechanical, working, running condition. And now I'm at this decision point of, do I go ahead with the long and arduous and expensive process of paint and body, or do I sell it? And if you've seen some of my more recent videos, I have long thoughts on that topic, which I'll not repeat here. Other than to say it is a wonderful car, and I've enjoyed owning it, and we'll just have to see how much longer that lasts. That is our new girl, a 2025 Kia Carnival. So this is now kind of our main family cruiser, my wife's daily driver. Got this one really just because it was kind of time. Financially, it kind of made sense if we were going to make a big purchase to do it this year rather than next year. So we went ahead and got this. Got a pretty good deal on it. I'm not a good wheeler dealer, but I managed to get under MSRP for about $1,700. I felt pretty good about that for a brand new 2025. It's a mid-level trim. It's got a decent amount of stuff on it. I will say one little thing that I like is these side windows that just automatically go in and out when you park it. It just makes it a lot easier for getting in and out. But yeah, 3-row up to 8 passengers. We'll be taking this for its first big trip here in a little bit. Hopefully things will be nice and comfortable and reliable with this car for many years to come. came recommended to us, this Kia Carnival, from a family member who got one and really enjoyed it. Believe it or not, this is the first non-American brand that I've ever purchased. Always owned American cars, kind of figured I always would, but yeah, there is the Kia. And you know this girl, my original classic 69 Mustang, hasn't gone out much the last month or so. Things are getting, like I said, salty on the road, kind of nasty. So she just sleeps. And like I said, we probably will be getting winter storage for this. Car will be the one that goes in. But here she is in her sleeping habitat. By far, the Flex is my favorite car to change the oil on because it is just so easy. Nice, easy path to the drain plug. And really, changing the oil on your own car is really not hard. And I recommend everyone do it, even if, like me, you're not a mechanic. The only thing that can really trip you up is if the oil filter is in an odd place. You really have to scramble for it. I remember I had a 2000 Ford truck, and that oil filter was just in a tough place to get to. But in the case of the Flex, you just pop under here and boop, there it is. Completely unobstructed oil filter, so easy to get to. Changing the oil on this car is just a breeze. And I don't know about you, but I've changed the frequency with which I change my oil. It used to be, you know, in the old days, it was something you did like every 3,000 miles. Then it was 5,000, and really I've switched to 7,500 now. That's what mechanics that I trust say they do with their own cars. The oil blends now are good enough that 7,500 is really sufficient. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm not gonna let you sit here and watch all this drain, but pretty easy stuff. Alrighty. Alright, well, we gotta get the filter off, which tends to be the nastier, dirtier, filthier part of the job. But you recommend having a oil filter wrench. Just a great tool to just get on there. And you can also get ones, I have a few of them that were exact the exact width of your filter. So, but the problem with that is if your filter, you know, if you don't have that car anymore, then you don't have that filter thing won't work anymore. And so I've got that exact thing. I've got 2 or 3 of those that only work for a car that I don't have anymore. Oh. Hopefully we didn't get any on the camera there. Alrighty. And you've probably heard this one before. Always lube up the rubber ring around your filter before you put it on. And everyone always says to use clean oil. I just use the dirty oil from the can. I really can't imagine. I've been doing this, well, including with my dad, who I started changing oil with when I was, let's just say it's been a long time. Over 40, close to 50 years that I've been changing my own oil. So, trust me, you can get by It's just using a little bit of the dirty stuff. The point is to just have some lubrication on there so that it makes a good seal, as opposed to dry. It can, when it first time you fired up the engine, can melt that gasket and make it stick. And as they say, just hand tight. Of course, some people's hands are stronger than mine, but that seems to do the job. And then the last step is putting in the new oil. This one takes 5.5 quarts, which of course, you buy these oils in the 5-quart canister. So then you have to sit there and make sure you have, so it looks like I've got about a 1/2 quart in here. So the rest of this one, plus a whole other one, should do it. As it happens, the Jeep takes this exact same weight of oil, but 4.5 quarts. So tricky. Two of these will exactly do it, but as you might guess, this was left over from the last oil change. So kind of didn't really have a choice in the matter. As they say, this should be good. I could probably just go ahead and dump this all in and not worry about, it might be a touch high. I guess we can go ahead. Problem is, because I've got it up here on ramps, I'm at a slight angle, so I can't fully accurately measure the dipstick level with it on an angle. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and put this whole thing in. It may be 5 5/8 quarts, but I think she'll be okay. Alright, get that check. You may have noticed I also did not fill up my filter with oil. Some people also recommend that. I've never done that. I can't imagine that. I mean, it's so quick. I mean, if you were running an engine for 10 or 15 seconds with no oil in it, then okay, you're going to do some damage. But just that tiny little blip before the system levels out, I can't imagine. Again, 40, almost 50 years of changing oil this way. So I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, we're definitely a little high. Not bad. A little high said, then a little low. Yeah. All right, one down. Well, if you want to know how nerdy I get, I keep this cheat sheet here taped up in the garage, and it's just specs on the vehicles, what kind of oil they take, oil filter, air filter, wiper blades, all that kind of stuff. Haven't yet added the Kia here, so just 5 vehicles. My mowers too. And here's something I did a long time ago that I really am glad I did, is the size of the drain plug when you're changing the oil. So you just have it handy, ready to go, not have to sit there and futz around with it. I keep this as a Google Doc and update it, but highly recommend. And one more trick for my dad, this is how I keep track of, in addition to that little Google sheet, which sometimes I forget to update when I change the oil. Just here in the owner's manual, on the inside, just keep a list of when I changed everything. So you can see, last did it in June, we're at 161 and can't change. So we just did it now here at 169. So we're a little less than 8,000 between oil changes, so not too bad. We've also got my, when I flushed the radiator, and 123. So we're at 169,000 miles. So we're definitely due for a new air filter. Have to put that on my list. Well, unfortunately, my wife threw me a curveball and decided to take this car out for her concert this afternoon, which means I couldn't do this during the daytime. But so this is the last vehicle that we have. It's a 2014 Jeep Patriot. As they say, it's kind of the baby Jeep, but still a Jeep. Got four-wheel drive and a towing hitch, which I've actually used, believe it or not. I guess now with my 51 Ford truck, it also has a towing hitch, but I've never towed anything with it. I'm not sure if I would even attempt to. But this was my wife's father's car, and when he passed, it came to us. And it's been a reliable little car for us. Having four-wheel drive in the snow is very useful. But so let's go and get the oil changed on this baby. Not quite as easy as the Flex, but we'll get her done. Ooh, starting to get chilly. We were blessed with a very warm day here in Indiana, probably our last warm day of the year. So I found this in a lot of more modern cars, is they have this like plastic splash guard underneath the engine. And Jeep was at least smart and left areas with cutouts for the bolt, the drain plug that is, and the oil filter. I've had other cars where they did not have the foresight to do that, and bit of a pain getting that, so you have to remove that entire splash guard in order to get to the stuff. And whose bright bit of engineering was that? Reminds me of the difference. A mechanic once instructed me the difference between engineers and mechanics is engineers are designing cars as if they're never going to be maintained. So when they get to the mechanics, you know, I remember him showing me the inside of a BMW engine bay once. He said, you know, I know an engineer looks at this and just thinks it's a marvel of design, but I think it's incredibly stupid because I have to tear half the engine apart just to do the most basic kind of stuff. Ooh, there we go. All right, same thing. Not gonna make you watch all of this drain. Whew, well, I didn't show it, but I just had a hell of a time breaking this thing free. The problem with this access port here in the splash guard is that you really can't get this whole thing up in there to get a sideways twist on it. So yeah, I just, whew, man, that was a doozy. Oh, man. Hate it when things are harder than they have to be. Oof. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you can see. It's hard here with one hand on an oily hand, but I had to bend the crap out of this thing. And you can see that there. That's from putting the oil filter clamp on it sideways. Oof, not the way it should be. Hard to see that level at night. There it is. Alright, that should be 4.5 volts. Alrighty, tidy. Well, that's loose. Alright, not sure how much that shows, but we are right in the hash. We are good. Alrighty, well, that is what life is like with 6 cars. Got just 4 of them right here, as you saw the other 2 out on the street, but I don't know, probably seems very American and excessive, but it works for me, although, I don't know, anyone see my last few Cadillac videos? I am sort of in the soft selling phase of this. I have it listed on Facebook Marketplace. Gotten a lot of nibbles, no bites. I've been told by my friend who's a expert on these, the market is a little soft now, so more than likely the Cadillac will reside until spring or summer, but yeah, living in the USA, loving cars. Hope you do too. Thanks for watching.